and welcome to Cosmic Conversations. I'm your host, Sheila Seppi, and I want to welcome you to this episode. Tonight, before we get started, I'd like to ask everyone to take just a moment of silence for Narihana, who left this world last night, to higher planes of existence. So if everyone would just close your eyes and just take a moment, sending her soul off with lots of love and light and appreciation for her journey here on this planet. And so it is. May you go well, Nadi. Okay, so tonight we have a very special guest for you. We have Raelene Malley, and she's going to speak to us about Feng Shui. And my co-host for the entire month of April is Dr. Kimberly McGeorge. Now, for those of you who know Kimberly, you know that her work is all about mastering life's mysteries and exposing galactic secrets as she serves as a guide to help all of us achieve personal transformation. Her mission is to empower everyone to activate their innate abilities and to reconnect with their authentic self. By unveiling the intricate rules of our universe, shedding lights on concealed truths about our reality, and offering insights into other realms, she provides tools and knowledge that's needed to literally liberate your potential. Now, she will pave the way for you to manifest your magical dream life right here and now. Dr. has an extraordinary ability to time weave your timelines into the optimal and the highest ones just by speaking to you. She radically alters your reality by the frequency she holds and her presence of being. Dr. Kimberly is an internationally known consultant and an inventor of medical technology, including technology that is frequency-based. With her own process, she is able to imbue frequencies into anything, including images. All of our pictures have been extensively tested with the quantum technology, and they have used them on themselves. Now she uses this technology scan all aspects of your lives, including the beliefs and the programs that you're holding back from creating everything that you want. So again, it is my honor and pleasure to have Kimberly as my co-host this month, and she is going to give us a further introduction of our guest, Raelene. So Kimberly, thank you so much for being here and agreeing to be my co-host this month.
Oh yeah, my pleasure. So Raelene is a friend and a business partner of mine. We've been in business a couple years together. She helps me with my Etsy store. She makes absolutely beautiful, beautiful enhanced crystal wands and all sorts of things. She's very talented, extremely talented, as you'll see tonight at Feng Shui. We may be able to pick up a couple people's readings on the fly. We'll see. And also with the tarot. So she's and quite psychic herself. So she has a lot of talents, and she's just a very warm, bubbly, wonderful person, as you guys will see. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
So sweet. I'm like
Thank you.
blushing now.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here with us, Raelene.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you. So, oh, are we doing the feng shui right now, or?
We are ready to go when you're
ahead.
ready to go. Kimberly?
Do you want to start with Feng Shui, Raelene?
Oh,
do you want me to share? Let me see if I have your, yeah, I do. Hold on. Let me get your slide deck up. Sheila's given me control, I guess. Can you see that? Or is it loading there?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Also, Kimberly explains why it's important, how feng shui is incorporated in this matrix game. Because I didn't know that until I met her. So she was the one that was, because when I met her, I had asked, well, am I wasting my time with feng shui? Is it programming here, or is it really important? She said, no, it's important. And she calls it game coding. So if you want to mention that real quick.
Yeah, it's part of the game coding. Well, when we do extensive house and property scans, or even when I'm not looking or doing the house and property, I'm just doing, the fields of people. What comes up often, believe it or not, specific rooms want to be feng shuied, and the house and land often asks itself, because what we don't understand, or some of us don't understand, is like our house has its own, not just energy field, but more of a sentience than we think, as of course does our land and all the beings on our land. So I can't tell you, I would say about 6 or 7 out of every 10 people that I scan, their house or a room will say, the bedroom needs feng shui, or the living room needs feng shui, or, the land needs balance. So definitely every single thing, and I don't want to take over the show,
Oh
but
no, it's okay.
and another thing that comes up all the time is to de-junk. And then we could even go further into one of the things that's been coming up all the time in my house, which is a whole off-train subject, is haunted photographs. Think about, I know this is in a day where there's photographs online, but even your photographs online can have beings that have jumped into them, and you've caught them on images or negative dark energies, because that's just a complete holographic template. It doesn't matter if you're storing it in a photo album or you're storing it in your computer, a photograph can be haunted. So we have thousands and thousands and thousands of items in our home and on our property, including things like lawn furniture or plants or pots. And think of how many things you haven't thrown away because they're broken, or you haven't taken the time to get repaired. And every single one of these things is beaming, and it's in close proximity. It's not even the satellites, beaming from outer space. This is our own micro environment where we have all these items that are beaming their energy. And so when we start clearing out and cleaning out, and again, another thing that comes in when I'm testing both people and houses is the elemental energies which you work with, the fire and the wood and the metal. This person needs more fire energy. I don't know if you've seen any of that, Sheila, and anything you've run. This person needs more metal energy. This house needs more metal energy. This room needs more metal. So this is so verified for me, just watching people request it, so that's, my observation over, like 30 years working with this technology.
So if someone does capture a negative entity in a photograph, what might that appear? What might it look like?
I'll be putting together a video, Raelene, the one where the entity walks out, it looks like the, what is it called? The death, figure wearing it's not carrying a scythe, but it's like wearing a,
Oh, the one
so
outside.
yeah, the video, I haven't posted it yet, but I'm going to, and it's a video, but it would be the same in a still photograph. But I happened to capture in daytime, Sheila, Class A photography, a being, and you can see the robe blowing in the wind. It walks out of the forest, through a tree, across the clearing, and into the side of a house. That's what it looks like, girl. And it is Class A. It's going to blow your guys' mind when I put it on
It is.
YouTube.
It's creepy.
Maybe we can
It looks like a
debut it
shadow
next week
person.
on your, Sheila, maybe I'll debut it on Sheila's show next week. How about that?
There you go.
What'd you say, Raelene? I'm sorry.
Oh, I said it was creepy. It looks just like a shadow person too. Like you could see the silhouette exactly like a person, like about to walk into the house.
Yeah, except it walks through the house, through the side of the house. Anyway, so that's what it looks like. It looks like what you think it would look like, and sometimes, of course, I have pictures with, grays holding probes in some of my photos, and that's not positive. If it's holding a probe, I don't think that probe's going to be doing nice things, Sheila. I'm just not thinking it is. So we don't want to keep things like that necessarily displayed. I know a woman, and then I'll let you go, Raelene. Like taking
Oh, it's okay. I'm listening.
I know a woman, her mother is famous. I mean, she has like art in like Washington, D.C. and the, really big museums and all over the world. She's famous for dark, satanic, crazy, messed up psychosis art. And this person, teaches consciousness and just the world's most giant. I mean, I'm telling you guys, it's like 6 feet by 7 feet. And she sits in front of it and does her videos. And I'm like, girlfriend, That's just not a positive energy. I don't care if it's your mother, your brother, your husband, or your sister. I'm not putting that in my house. I'll be like, thanks, no thanks, and put it in my nice little storage unit for haunted things. So some things you can clear, obviously. Some things you would want to burn. Some things are better digital on your computer instead of displayed. And some people aren't willing to do that, and that's fine. But you do have to realize that down to a pencil, every single item provides clutter, positive, neutral, or negative energy into your environment.
Yes.
So some of your struggles, clean up your environment, move your stuff, change your life. Right, Raelene?
Yes.
So
I
for
need to actually do
people,
more of that too.
yeah, so
Even-
for people who are hoarders, they
Yes.
really are holding lots of energy, correct?
Mm.
Yeah, I think it's similar to, and this isn't, proven. I mean, I even struggle with it. I think, when I first started, majorly coming out 15 years ago, and I had really big classes of like 500 people, I gained a lot of weight really fast, and I wasn't clearing, and I wasn't detaching, and I wasn't decording. It's the same thing that we can take on our merge with our loved ones. We take on people's burdens that aren't ours to take. We can take on our clients' energies, and that provides physical weight. So it's the same with stuff in our house. We wonder why we're weighed down. We wonder why we don't have, energy and motivation to be creative or build our bank accounts or follow through, and we don't feel motivated. And it's funny because I'm looking at the clutter on my kitchen counter myself. I don't have it perfected, but I definitely know when there's space in my house, there's something to the Japanese and the Korean. I don't know if you guys have seen the way a lot of their houses are. It's like white space. And you
Yes.
might think it's sterile, but it's also very clean. And
Mhm.
it's literally space. So then you can create and not run up against the frequency of your stuff. And in the Western world, we're taught over consumerism. We're taught to spend. You get a salary. What do? You go buy a new car, and you buy a new couch, and you buy, a picture on the wall and a new blender, and we're taught that stuff equals success. And that's not, what the Eastern cultures teach. The Eastern cultures teach a lot about simplicity and declutter and space and cleanliness, and I could talk, and I have talked hours and hours about all this stuff, but I'll be quiet. You talk.
I needed that
Stop,
reminder. And it's also
stop
like
asking questions.
what they call like
Go
trauma
ahead.
dumping. When you were saying how we leave energy with people when we're telling them, or when they're telling us their problems, or the clients and stuff, they call that trauma dumping. And that makes sense because we hold like their problems. I needed that reminder. I needed that reminder also. Okay.
Then
So
there's those of us like Sheila and I with savior implants, and we could talk about that for another
yeah.
hour, right, Sheila?
Yes. Yes. I know I have them. Does everybody have them? Or do they
No,
only some
a lot
people
of
have
people do.
them?
A lot of the older souls that have lived really, really long, the first waves, they've developed the bad habit because they have the ability in different realms and different places to rescue, and they get used to it, and they embody that as part of their aspect of character, and they confuse a role with their being, and it's nobody's being to be anyone's savior, but we get that confused when we're healers, and when we're fixers, even when we're strategists, when we're mediators, and we get that imprint deep into our field, and sometimes it's placed there too.
And our animals hold in all of our energy. I remember you told me that. You said our animals take in a lot of our energy, and we can actually make them sick also sometimes.
Oh, for
Not on
sure.
purpose.
Well, no, we don't. Hopefully, we don't do it on purpose, but it's the same thing. When we merge with the people that we love, and we can choose to unmerge. You can go and merge with your children, or your husband, or your wife, or your brother, or your sister, your mom, or dad, but and have that communion and have that oneness, that partial merge. But there's nothing wrong with when you go back to your house unmerged. You don't have to walk around merged with 30 people or 100 people or anyone. Even husbands and wives, I think regularly. I think it's healthy to energetically unmerge and remember what it feels like to be alone in their own energy field as their own, because they didn't come here to be their husband, or they would have. They came here to be them. And I think we need to remember that we came here to be our own individualized frequency and point of view, and we need to keep it clean. Also, that's a way of honoring the other person. And if we understand these principles and they don't, I think we have a greater responsibility to keep clean for them, because they don't have to agree. When I broke up with my boyfriend that was living with me, he didn't agree at all. He wanted to be merged with me. But guess what? The one that knows the most and understands the most has the most power. You know, knowledge is power. And so I was able to take back what he'd taken from me and give him back, you know, what was his, and have that clean separation. And we are no longer merged. But we're seeing this so much. There's so much, you know, there's positive merging too, but there's so much negative merging going on. And we go through life and we don't even clear the outer merging, which is the cords and the hooks and the entanglements and the timeline enemies and the infinity loops that we see in people's fields. So there's a lot to this.
So interesting.
Now, Raelene, stop asking questions. Now it's your turn to talk.
I'm the
So
interviewer. No, I'm kidding. Okay. Okay. Sorry.
I'll go to your first
Feng
slide.
Shui. So in real ancient Feng Shui, so we have like different schools of Feng Shui. So we have what's called like the Western Feng Shui, and then we have Eastern Feng Shui. So what I teach is the Eastern Feng Shui, but some of the stuff that I found out goes further than that, because there's still some Eastern classical schools of Feng Shui that have left some of the real truth out. So I was lucky to learn the original that wasn't watered down whatsoever. So as you guys know, the classical Feng Shui is about time dimension, and it's about landforms and element placements. So in the Western Feng Shui, we usually see where it's very generalized, where people are told everyone's front door is their north, and everyone's back of the house is, you know, from the door is their south, and the money corner is only in the southeast, and the relationship corner is only in their southwest, which is everyone's far right corner when you walk into the house. So this does change everything, because when I started learning Feng Shui, I started where most people are only taught the watered down Feng Shui. So but it's also about time dimension, the placements depending on the house energy, the monthly. We also have monthly energies and yearly energies, like annual energies. So it's really about the energies that shift every month, and then they shift every year and every 20 years. Because in the Western Feng Shui, we're often taught you Feng Shui your house one time and that's it. You don't have to do, I mean, you still keep the clutter out, like what Kimberly was talking about and everything, but they don't consider that there's the time keeps changing, right? Like energy never stops moving, which they do teach that in the Western Feng Shui too, because they talk about the chi energy, et cetera, but they don't talk about the time dimension of untimely and timely numbers energies, what we call flying stars. But we'll start at the first slide. So this man that you see in the picture, his name was Tan Yang Wu, and he is the founder of the lineage, and he's one of the biggest Feng Shui masters of all time. So he started learning Feng Shui at around 19 years old, and he studied with other very higher up, respectable Feng Shui master teachers. And so we'll go to slide 2 now. So during his life, he published 4 books about real ancient Feng Shui. But unfortunately, all of the books were destroyed during the Japanese occupation, with the exception of 1 copy of each title. And luckily, those were saved by one of his students that he was teaching. I don't have the name of the student at the moment that had saved most of that one part of each of his textbooks. But at the time of his teaching, so we're going to go to slide 3. So at the time of his teachings, the rulers of China did not want this information to be taught to the masses. So it was only allowed to be given to royalties. So only the emperors and the royalties of China were allowed this kind of Feng Shui. So we'll go to slide 4. So the Chinese emperor had asked others to make up other schools of Feng Shui. I don't know who these people were, but I'm assuming they were taught Feng Shui, but they were taught a different way. And it was purposely to cause confusion and to steer people into the wrong direction, kind of like what they do with the mainstream media and everything else that they don't want us to know. And in slide 5, so it basically, I had put down in the next slide, the Feng Shui Bagua that most of what everyone's seeing these days is actually the wrong kind of feng shui. It's not negative, it's just, and some of it is right. So I'm not going to say all of Western feng shui is wrong, but a lot of it, it's just watered down. It's not the right, it's not really, it wasn't really the way it was meant to be originally taught. In slide 6, I just show like a compass there. So if any kind of feng shui does not take a compass reading, it's not real feng shui. So that's like the introduction of classical feng shui, like the main purpose of it. But what's interesting is there's no more slides, but what we do is we go by the energy changes every 20 years. So in classical feng shui, you'll hear what we call periods, like period 1, period 2, period 3. We were in period 8, and period 8 began in the year 2004, and it ended at the very end of 2023. So we are actually in a whole new period. So there's different energies that come with, I know it's very confusing, by the way, so I don't expect everybody to understand because it takes a good amount of, I would say it took me about 4 years to really remember all of this without needing to go into my past notes and everything that I learned online, because I took online school in China. I did not take the schooling in America because they usually don't teach the right feng shui. I wanted to get to the real one. And it's very time consuming. So what we do is when we have the person take a compass reading depending on the more yang road of their house. And I find out what period they moved in. Like Sheila, what was the year that you moved into your house? Or the year that it was built? Are you guys able to hear me, by the way? Like, I mean, do you hear me okay?
I hear you. Sorry. Yes,
Oh, okay. Oh, that's okay.
we built our house. Now, this property, my
Mhm.
husband had for many, many years, probably 30 years. But when we built a house on the property and moved into it about 10 years ago.
Okay, so you are in a period 8 home. So it'd be a period 8 chart. I don't know the chart yet because I didn't get a compass reading, but no worries. You could do that during any time now if you wanted to. But let me tell you about your landforms
Well,
because
7 years. We've been here
7
7
years?
years. Yes.
Okay, so you are in a period 8 home. So in
Okay.
each period, we have 16 different house charts per period. So let's say my house faces southwest. So if I had moved into this house in 2003, then it would be a period 7 chart. But because I moved into this house in 2015, it's a period 8 chart. So there's 2 totally different charts. That's what makes each house unique. And here's another thing. Some classical schools that are not the right one, they even say it goes by the year the house was built. But
Oh,
in real ancient feng shui, it goes by the period you moved in, whichever 20-year cycle that you moved in. Because if somebody gets the period wrong, it's a whole different chart that could throw everything off. And that's one thing that some of the classical schools do make a huge mistake about in some teachings, where this one, it comes with the energy that you bring in during, even though like Kimberly says, there's no time here, but if we're looking at earth, like quote unquote earth timing, we go by the 20-year cycles
yeah.
technically, because there's no real time here, like she said. But we go by, like, it goes by the energy of the now that you bring the energy into your house. So that does change the chart. But I did look at your property. I couldn't see a house on there, and that's okay. But this is just reading the energy of the roads and the
Okay.
property, because I also do that. So I'm going to read to you what I picked up. And I
Okay.
might be off, so let me know if it's wrong. I'm not always right, but I'm going to tell you what I picked up because I read
Okay.
energy and roads. So you have what I call long-reaching roads design, or overreaching energy. So this is like ever since you moved here, it's showing dealing, or maybe your husband since he was living there longer. It's like dealing with others who overreach. You might be dealing with people that kind of overreach, or challenges. Also, another energy I got was challenges with goals that seem to cause you to feel like as soon as you get close to reaching a goal, it begins to move a bit farther away. That's what I also picked up.
Yeah,
Not saying this happened,
yeah,
huh?
we share an extremely long driveway
Hmm.
with neighbors who the guy is a banker in
Uh-huh.
Richmond, and there's lots of people that come and frequent that house a lot. So he has lots of people who will come. It's like a vacation house for them.
Oh, okay.
So there's
That's
lots of
interesting.
people that traverse that road. Yeah.
I wonder if they get the same type of energy. This is just the land, like the land and the roads. That this is
Oh,
not
okay.
even the house chart, but that is interesting. So
Yeah, the road we share. Yeah.
the also energy that I picked up, it causes you to feel like you're in a loop sometimes, like repeating patterns, and that's common for a lot of people, especially in small subdivisions where you have lots of streets that go behind. So a lot of people get this is some of this is generalized, but you really do have this. I didn't know how to put this in words, but what I also picked up was you go through sometimes like a full circle, like completion. I was telling Kimberly this, if she can make sense of that, you do come to a full circle. Like I don't know if it was like karmic, or I know there's no karma technically here, but there's this completion of like something comes to a full circle. I don't know, maybe that happened recently. But here's what I also got. It because it's hard to explain, but I think what I was picking up is you have a hard time putting things into perspective sometimes since you moved here, or you have a hard time explaining how you feel. It's like you feel so much energy, but you don't know how to explain the energy. So
Hmm.
I'm guessing you're really good about feeling energy. Not that you can't explain the energy, but I don't. It's so sorry if this sounds kind of weird because I just have to write down notes as soon as I pick up what I'm
Sure.
hearing.
Sure.
Um, but there's a lot of potential for expansion in your property also. There's also a lot of game playing. I don't know why I picked that up, but I did. Like others who it could be like making a lot of things fun, like when there's like what's that saying, if you're bored I'll find something for you, but you always seem to find the joy in everything, so that's good. Or everyone on the property does. It's like easy to, but there's also this other game playing energy, but I don't, when I say that, I don't mean to say it in an offensive way, like someone's
Right.
playing games. It's not intentionally malevolent or anything. Maybe the entities that come on the property do that, but there it's more like you have to kind of catch up constantly with people, or like this cat and mouse energy. That's what I was
Hmm.
getting, like having to constantly um we need to redo this, or I did like it, there's always this, somehow you have to not redo it, how do I put this, like this playing phone tag or something, constantly having to get back in touch because it didn't fully like finish. Does that make sense?
Okay,
Sorry.
yeah, that's okay. This particular parcel that are on, we have 52 acres and the river runs through it. And we also have a large ceremonial site. And so
Oh.
we conduct a lot of ceremonies on this property.
Maybe that's the full circle I was getting.
Yeah,
I don't know
it
if
very
that,
well could
okay.
be.
Like some kind of circle. Not that it was bad, it was like coming together, or I wasn't sure how to find that out. I don't, it may not even be that, but now that you say we do ceremonies, I'm like, oh, maybe that's the, Kimberly, you remember that? I was like full circle. What am I getting here?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to say your street name because I want to keep that private, but the name of your road, Kimberly knows what the name of roads mean. I didn't, but it was really interesting. Um,
Oh,
yeah, she says like sometimes the name of a street can have good and bad negative meanings. Like for
right.
example, if somebody has the word river in their street, that can mean, I forgot what she said. You said like sometimes it means it could wash away money, or I
Yeah,
forget.
you'd think it'd be good, but it's not. So the controllers, if you ever go in a town, you'll see there's a lot of street names that are the same. A lot are named after trees, a lot are named after rivers. And there's a reason for that because the controllers know the coding of the game and they approve or disapprove street names. And sometimes people can get family names, but then they get these black signs, at least around here. And like official signs are like the green signs. So you always need to really, my clients come to me, one of the things I do is run and compare different places where they're going to move in or different houses. And whenever they send me the address, sometimes I'm just like, nope. And they're like, what do you mean, nope? Like, that's all you got? I'm like, I'm saying nope based on the street name,
Yeah.
because it can be really, some of them
Yeah.
are like gin. Like people have street names that are like gin. I'm moving on a street that says
Ooh.
gin. I don't need to encourage those buggers. I've got enough of those in my life. We don't need to invite But think about how many times, you know, people are sending you mail or you're signing things or it's on contracts. And who wants that energy? I just think we need to be a little more thoughtful. Now, of course, there's cures and things we can do, just like you teach, Raelene. And this hour is going fast, and I know it is an hour, and I know Sheila likes to keep it fairly tight. I want to switch gears, but in the meantime, Raelene, are you open to some of the audience members typing their, well, I guess can they privately type maybe their addresses to me? I don't know if they can do that, and then I could get them to you, because we could do some spontaneous readings, but no one wants to give their address, and that's what we need to do, like even a land form.
I don't mind at all. I mean, it only takes me a few seconds to go on Google Earth.
I mean, if they can, if you guys, you know how you can push the button in the chat, Sheila, and type it just to me. And then, so if you guys trust me and you want a reading, type me the address, and then I'll get it to Raelene. So, but make sure you don't put it to everybody reading. Like,
I won't.
Down the arrow and type it if you guys want a reading. And
great idea, Kimberly. Yeah, it's a great idea.
Okay, I'm getting some. So, and I need, do we need city and state and zip? What do we need, Raelene?
All of it, like the house, because I'm going to go on Google Earth and look at the land.
So I need not just your street number. I need your like your mailing address. You don't have to put your name. I just need the address. I mean, obviously, there we go. I'm getting some addresses, so I'll type in a minute. But while I'm sending you the addresses, I'm going to make you do like 3 things at once.
That's okay. I'm a multitasker. I can do it.
That's good. So while you're doing this, I'm going to be typing you, and maybe Sheila can fill in the blanks if we have dead air, because dead air is, we never want dead air. And I've been in radio way before I did this, and dead air is like,
you know, speaking of when you were talking about the streets, my brother-in-law, I'll just say the street name is Deadwood Drive. And they're also in a cul-de-sac. Cul-de-sacs are already.
The brother-in-law that I know who's going through what I know.
Yes.
Well, wow.
Deadwood Drive.
Ooh, wow.
And they're in a cul-de-sac. And his kitchen, he's the father of the home. His kitchen falls on the northwest area. And I will say this to everybody that's watching. In real Feng Shui, we don't like to have a kitchen in the northwest. If a man is in the house that's a father or has ever got anyone pregnant, because they call it Heaven's Gate. Now, it's not really because of religion, not even Feng Shui, but it's just a sacred area for the patriarch of the home. So now, if there's a single woman or just only women living in the house, and if the kitchen does fall in the northwest, it's not going to affect them in a negative way. But if there's a father living in the home and if the kitchen falls in the northwest, he's going to struggle. And my brother-in-law also has that in his house, and he's been through a lot. Okay, I'm getting
that's
some
true.
messages here.
Okay, so I'm going to send you some addresses, trying to get the other part of this. But in the meantime, I'm going to ask you to intuitively choose a deck, and I'm going to ask you a collective question, which you'll kill me for, but that's okay. It's so much fun. All right, so we're going to pull cards for this question. So when she pulls these cards, the cards with frequency and the way that we all understand tarot to work, however you guys understand that to work, we're going to answer this question. What the frickin' frick happened to Princess Kate?
Oh, the cards. Okay, you want the cards to tell you. You already know what's going on there.
Yeah, I know, but let's see what the cards say. Let's see if the cards give us any clues.
All right, this will be interesting. You know what? What's interesting is I have the 4 of Swords. That's the first card that came out, which does sometimes mean, okay, I'm sorry because of my camera, but the 4 of Swords, for all the tarot card readers out there, it shows like a coffin. Like this is the original Rider-Waite. So the original tarot, the 4 of Swords is where you see someone lying down like a coffin. It doesn't always mean death, but sometimes it can, or someone that's sick. I also pulled the 6 of Swords, which is moving away. This the card is people on a boat. Whenever I get that near the 4 of Swords, it sometimes means somebody's going away, whether it's death, sickness, or hiding out. And then we have the King of Swords after that. So this is like the King of Swords can mean law enforcement. I don't know what the I don't pay attention to the birthdays of the royal family, but I don't know not Harry, the other brother. I don't know his birthday, but usually the King of Swords is an air sign person, like a Gemini, Libra, or an Aquarius. or somebody in top authority, like a king, queen, etc. Um, although you kind of told me what you see with her, but that's what the cards are showing. So it did kind of confirm that, which is really
Right.
interesting.
Right. And I'm not going to go into my theory because that's, or my information, because some of it is kind of confidential. But okay, so you 3 addresses. So I don't know if Sheila wants to talk about something or ask questions. So to give you a second to look at these addresses. We'll see how many we can get through before we tap
Okay,
out
so
at the top of
basically
the
what
hour.
she's going to do is she's going to look at the addresses and
Mhm.
she is going to do a reading of the land based on what she sees. Is she also basing these readings on the numbers?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What about that? I
That's
was writing
okay.
down an address.
Yeah,
Um,
that's okay. I was asking Kimberly, you just do your thing.
oh,
And Kimberly and I
sorry.
will talk, and
Okay.
you can let me know when you're ready.
Okay. I think it's mostly it's a bunch of things. It is the numbers, it's the landforms, it's the shape of the street, whether it's a busy street, whether it's, and she'll tell you. And if you guys, if we have her ever on again, we can do like the actual compass readings, which then that talks about like more positionally, like where does your house face, and what cures, because I know you go by, you always take a compass reading facing the busy street, and then you can kind of start digging into the rooms of your house and correcting with cures. But this is just the general kind of landforms and type of streets and how busy they are. I don't know. Is it numbers, Raelene? Is it the frequency of the numbers?
Are you talking about the feng shui numbers?
Yeah.
Like, so when somebody takes a compass, it determines the chart. Once I know the period, like usually if somebody moves before 2024 and after the year 2004, they're in a period 8 home. So I look at all the charts in period 8, and then when I find out the degree, so it's more than just like I'll get clients that say, well, my house faces west, and I'll say, okay, what is the degrees? I need the degrees because even a couple of degrees off, it might be west one. We have what's called in every facing direction. There's 3 different house charts. Actually, there's 2 different house charts, but one of them out of the 3 is different. So we have like when a house faces west, we have west 1, 2, and 3. And for the same for every direction. And always know this, the 2 and 3 will always be the exact same chart. I know that sounds confusing, but that's how they do it, I guess. But if a house faces south, I'll say what is the degree, because it could be south 1, 2, or 3. So basically the 1 and 2 are going to be different. The 3 will always be like the number 2. I know that's confusing. Sorry. I'm typing in the first address real quick. But after we determine the degree of the house, then I look at the house chart, and in each area of the house, we'll have 2 different numbers in each area. So in every house, the southwest affects the mother, the northwest affects the father, the west affects girls or female animals 15 years and younger, the northeast affects males 15 years and younger, the north is the middle age son, males 15 through 17, and the south is girls 15 through 17. The center affects everybody. And then what we have is we have energy numbers. They're called the flying stars. This is based on the permanent chart. Because once you determine the house degree, the facing degree from the compass reading, then it shows the energies in each area of the chart. So there's 2 numbers in each, the southwest, the north, etc. And in every area, the top, I should have made, I'm very sorry for this, I should have made slides for examples of charts. I could actually send one to Kimberly real quick after I do these 2 addresses. But each section of a house has energies of health and relationships and money. So in every home, there's actually at least 3 money corners, not just 1. And sometimes during certain months or years, you might have 4 or 5, depending on the monthly and annual energies. So there's so many different, that's why I said feng shui takes hours and hours to explain. Sorry. But it's really interesting what we find in people's homes. I can predict divorces. I could predict births. I could predict sometimes someone's likely to have a boy or a girl. Sometimes there's other factors though that what Kimberly talks about. So this is just the feng shui part of it, but you can actually predict animal health. Now I'm not going to say it cures everything, but there has been case studies from master teachers that we have learned in seminars online, and they have told us feng shui can actually help prevent natural disasters to your house. They had one case study of this guy in Singapore where everyone on his house, I guess there was some kind of natural disaster, and his house was the only one that didn't get hardly any damage. And he was the only one that actually feng shuied his house this way. It was really interesting, the case studies. For example, let me talk about this real quick. This year, now this is talking about the annual energies. Okay. So in everyone's south, this year has the bad metal 7, and it causes a robbery energy. And in my house, this is just going by my floor plan, our south is our garage where we keep the cars. And at my husband's work, his car almost got stolen by somebody. It was on camera. He literally tried to break in. Luckily, my husband saw him because he's a mechanic, and he yelled out at the guy, and the guy turned and pointed a gun and just went into the car and drove off. Now, I already have my areas remedied. I don't know if that helped. But let's say it was really interesting because our car is in the south, and the south is the area. This is the same for everyone south in their house. Whenever you find out where your south is, it's going to cause a robbery energy. So whatever is in the south is likely, in some cases, it might cause that whatever it is to be stolen or broken into, or that area in the house somebody might try to break in, or whoever the family member that spends the most time there, or a bedroom, they might deal with someone or something being stolen or taken from them, whether it's be a relationship, whether it be a job, like outsourcing, or someone else took their job or their promotion. It could be anything, or having problems with the south in general. The south area affects the eyes, blood, and heart. So we're going to see a lot of people feel robbed of their health with those bodily areas, because that's the south area, and the 7 is a negative energy that causes robbery and theft. We also might see middle-aged daughters. Remember, the south affects girls 15 through 17. They might have issues this year with being hurt, especially by metal, being cut by cut by something like scissors or a knife on accident, or even some stab wounds. There could be violence to middle-aged daughters or whoever's affected. For example, if you are the sign of the horse, like your zodiac sign, your Chinese zodiac sign, that is affected by the south area. So people that are born in the year of the horse may also deal with those issues, even if they're not even in the south area. This is what happens when the areas are not remedied. It's very scarily accurate. Sorry for going on so much.
All right. Did you pull up anybody? Have you had a chance to look or not yet?
I have the first one. I'm looking at, it's moving out to the one in Colorado. Oh, wait, no, wrong address. They took me to Connecticut. Wait, no, hold on. Wilshire. No, I was right. Okay. So I'm seeing
the one in Colorado. Yeah.
There is this one is near a cul-de-sac, but the house is not in a cul-de-sac. Wait, it is. It's on the end of a cul-de-sac. I want to see the chat if someone's saying, yes, that's my house. It's like, it's in a cul-de-sac, but it's at the very, you want me to send you the screenshot, Kimberly, and then black out the address?
If you want. I mean, I'm going to have to go in. Yeah, I'm going to have to go off and then like add a slide.
I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to, but whoever lives in, I'll just say Colorado.
I can, just let me.
Okay.
Get up.
I'll do this real quick and take a screenshot. Okay. I'm just going to black out the address. There we go. There's, should I say this on camera? Okay. I don't know if I should say this on camera because the way it looks. I'll just text you, Kimberly, what I'm seeing here. It's actually a popular joke right now that people say, big D energy. Sorry, that is literally what it looks like. Sorry, I'm not trying to be kind of silly of me to say. You can kind of see that the energy of the road right there, but it's a cul-de-sac. So cul-de-sacs we don't really like in classical feng shui because it leaves a lot of lingering energy. This one is not it's a cul-de-sac, but it doesn't go very far. It's kind of like a short. So this is what I'm getting with this road here. There's like a fork in the road. That's the sharp energy. A lot of sexual energy. I'll just put it there. Now the house of this person right here, this person's at the very end. They're towards the end of the cul-de-sac, so it's actually not as bad, but it's a very short, smaller cul-de-sac. So unfortunately, you're still getting that the end of the cul-de-sac energy, but it's still better to be where this house is than versus the ones at the very end where the actual circle goes around. But there is a lot of this could be kind of violent too. This is a lot of energy where people are sticking their nose where it doesn't belong, like being very nosy. You're dealing with, see here, the cars. This person has been driving really fast on this motorcycle back up and down our street right when this started, by the way. And he does it really loud, and we have not heard that guy riding that until tonight. Sunday said they distract us with car noises and stuff like that. I mean, it's basically, let me just talk about cul-de-sacs because there he goes again. Do you hear him? Very, very loud.
Who? Do we hear who?
Oh, you could hear this like motorcycle, not a motorcycle. It's one of those.
No, we can't hear it.
Yeah, stalking. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
do you see the slide, Raelene? Can you see the slide?
Yes.
See.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. Yeah, there's a lot of sexual energy, but there's also a lot of people sticking their noses where it doesn't belong. So there's a lot of that nosiness energy. So whoever lives here, there is some stress. They're not in the very end of they're at the end of the cul-de-sac, but so it's a little bit safer. But they're also a corner lot. So I don't know the direction of the house, so I can't say west, south, because I could tell you more of like if someone's having back problems or something, I could see. But the problem with this house, I'm not sure where the door is. No, actually it would be right there. So I'm guessing where the driveway is. But there is some problems with hold on.
They said faces north. She said faces
north. Okay. I would actually point it towards the busier road, not the cul-de-sac road. So if this person is taking a compass reading at their door, facing the smaller road that goes into the cul-de-sac, that's actually, you want to actually go by the more yang road, which would be to the side of them more. That's actually going to be your real direction, although there's another yang road right behind too. So this is what I call indirect energies where they get mixed up. So this person gets mixed up a lot of times with what they want to do. They mean to do something, they mean to do something else, and then they end up doing a whole different thing. That's the only problem. And then what happens is there's this like takeover energy. You see, the cul-de-sac is just kind of, like I said, it's not a very long cul-de-sac. See, we don't like cul-de-sacs in Feng Shui, and people will say, well, we don't like T-junctions. See, she's kind of at a T-junction. So in the diagonal,
for sure.
because it's at a corner, so the house is in a corner lot on top of a cul-de-sac. Sorry, yeah. So there's like a T-junction energy behind the house diagonally in that corner. So that's causing a lot of problems also. There's too much rushing energy from the side, and there's too much rushing energy diagonally. So this can cause issues with imbalances sometimes, dizziness, vertigo. I don't know about headaches. I don't know where the northwest would be the area of the northwest affects the head, so does the south, but the headaches really stems from the northwest area. If anyone's having really bad headaches, I always tell them to look at their northwest area. Now, if technically your front door, whose house this is, your front door is north, regardless of anything, but that wouldn't consider that your facing direction, but that is your north still. So I'm guessing the side of the house might be northeast, or it would be west. I'm not sure, but that would probably be the facing direction. So if we're looking north here to the cul-de-sac, then we're getting problems with, what is it, the ears? There could be ear problems, ear infections. The north is the body part of the ears, the, what is it? Kidneys, kidney problems, even if they're minor, like UTIs. What else? Just basically most of the internal organs are the north also. I know people are told the north is always the career corner. The north is good this year. The annual energy is good. The eight is there. So technically it's not a bad door for the year, but I don't know the chart, like the actual chart. But I could tell someone more if I knew if I'm doing a a private consultation, but the door being north isn't bad. So technically you would treat the front door like the north, like most people are told in Western feng shui, in the very back of, oh, so that would be your south for sure. Okay, so yeah, so she has, okay, that's her south. Hold on, let me turn this on. North, south. So that would be her, I want to say her southeast area. So there could be problems with the hips in this house because I'm looking at the corner where where it's like the T junction is there. It doesn't look like a T junction, but it is like the diagonal way. So it would be where if you want to, if the person was to stand in the center of their house and kind of turn their compass around and find the southeast, where that corner is, where the back of the back road is, that diagonal part, I believe that would be the person's southeast, or southwest. I'm not sure. I'm guessing southeast. Then that would be causing a lot of problems with the hips and the thighs, whether it's weight gain, whether it's cellulite, whether it's pain in the hips or the thighs, anything with the knee below or the hips or the buttocks, basically. That's the body part. So there is some issues, but like I said, just by being in a cul-de-sac, that already causes issues anyway. So sorry for the confusion. I know that some of this.
No, that's good. That's good for now. Because we don't have, compass readings, and they get an idea of how much information you can get just from looking at, the roads, the streets, the directions, and that's not even digging into, the inside. But the good news is for all the negatives or positives, all this can be balanced and cured. So that's the positive, and we'll tell you how you can get a hold of Raelene in a minute. But I'm going to have you pull as we come to the top of the hour, right, Sheila? It's an hour show, not a. Do
you want me to do this? Show. Do you want me to do this one address in Colorado real quick? I mean, and Canada real quick?
Yeah, but wait a minute. I'm going to have you pull another card for something that's another unfortunate burning topic. So let's pull a card for the energy around April 8th. The big eclipse. Let's pull a card for that.
Okay.
Or a card.
Just
a card.
Okay. All right. What's going to happen with April? Yuri told me about that too. See, I find out all the good stuff before it even happens. I'm so lucky. I appreciate you. You know that.
Yeah, you do.
All right. What is the energy on April 8th? I got the Sun card. What else?
Nice.
I got the three of, what's interesting? I have the 3 of Swords and the Ace of Cups. So this is like one of those. So I'm sorry, I can't show you the Sun card, the 3 of Swords and the Ace of Cups. So the Sun is like that happy, youthful energy. It could be very childish, playful. And then you have the 3 of Swords, which is like heartbreak, sadness, delays. And then you have the Ace of Cups. So it's almost like happiness after the storm, this makes sense because everyone's freaking out. That would explain the 3 of Swords, right? Because I see a lot of videos, I see a lot of TikTok videos, and everyone's freaking out. People are talking about the military coming in and doing, or there's just a lot of like, why is there so many military people coming in, and why are schools closing down? That's maybe why the 3 of Swords is showing. But the Ace of Cups is a new beginning and happiness. I'm kind of going, maybe it's because people realize it's not as bad as everyone's thinking.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right, we can wrap. We have a couple minutes. We can wrap quick. Do the Canada one. Quick.
Okay. Quick. Did I send you a picture of it already? Oh, let me send you that.
I don't know. Okay.
I'm so sorry. Okay. This one's really interesting because it looks like there's a lake. If I'm right, yeah, that is a lake. It says lake. Sorry. But I mean, you could see like the lake. It's like a huge, kind of like the cul-de-sac. This is not a cul-de-sac though. But there's, this is really interesting because Kimberly, I'm not trying to make you talk so much for this, but you said a lot of lakes are negative energy. So that's the huge part of this that's not good.
Mainly because almost all lakes have a usually negative, very rarely positive. All lakes, especially man-made lakes, usually have one negative entity or energy that rules over the lake. Lovecraft is very, very clear about that. So, and I've done a whole video about lakes, I think on TikTok, maybe YouTube, but
You did.
Yeah. So that's the main reason.
Mhm. They have a, how do we put, they have like these, not zigzags, but they have, this is just reading the energy of the roads. So you see where it goes like, I can't like show you guys, but it goes like up, down, kind of like two little mountains. Like if you turn upside down, they have like this climbing up the ladder. That's like climbing up the ladder energy here. Um, then you have, it's weird because I want to say there's such an emphasis on health and lung health. And I don't know why I'm picking that up, because I see like, when you look at the roads, like the way the picture is, it almost looks like the trees, like, when lungs have like, look like trees. I'm getting a lot of emphasis energy on lung health, or everybody around wants to be, which is good. A lot of people are like that now, but I mean, there's such an emphasis in this house of, I don't know if it's why I'm getting lungs. I could be wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm getting lots of lung health. And I feel like it's a lot of people living in the, like everyone here, not just your house. I will say this though, when it comes to large or pretty large bodies of water, you don't want to see it from your property. If the water is in the, I don't have my thing, guy. I forget these by heart. You don't want to see large bodies of water on your property from the northeast area. You also don't want to see it from the south area, and you don't want to see it from the west or northwest area. So let's say if this person takes a compass reading pointing towards the back of their house, which I'm assuming that's kind of like the very back where part of the lake is behind their house. That's, if it's the northwest, the west, the south, or the northeast, that's not good. Just because. But you can remedy that by just not, so you can have water behind your house, like a pool, but you don't want to, it's hard to explain because this is separate than pools. We don't want pools in those areas either. Which I don't know if they have one. I didn't look really up close. It doesn't look like there's a pool, but let's say, they have a boat. Okay. But I will say this, just the water behind, if you can see the water and it's in one of those areas, that's actually not really good also. But anyway, but I have people that ask, well, how can I have the water there without seeing it from my property? It's not cheap, but unless you have tons of high tall trees that cover it, so you can't see it when you're looking out your window. That, I know this sounds kind of ridiculous, but that's what we are actually taught in real ancient feng shui. If you see water, like let's say in my house, if I could see an ocean where my northeast areas outside of my window or standing in my backyard, that's not good for me, for my house or anyone's house. You don't want to see large bodies of water in those areas. So that's already a problem if it falls in one of those areas. But there's a lot of, like, I keep seeing this ladder climbing. So people are this person here is, I didn't see the name, I'm lazy. So whoever lives here is they really keep trying to strive to the top. They're very consistent with everything that they want to do. They never give up on anything, very health conscious, especially like I keep saying, the lungs. I'm not sure if this house faces northwest. That wouldn't surprise me. Or maybe the back of the house is northwest or west. Those are the lung respiratory issue areas. That's what I get mainly from this house in a nutshell. There's more to it, but that's what I get as a little summary.
That's good. So we'll thank you. I mean, you always give a ton of information, even when you don't have all the basic information, you can still get a ton of information. So again, nobody lives in a perfect house. We all, pick what we like, although some of us are energy sensitive and, we might want to get lucky or, subconsciously, pick better places, but it can all be fixed, all be cured. And it's just interesting and entertaining. I like to hear about my house just because I like to hear about my house.
You're in a really good house, Kimberly. You are one of the best charts. I keep telling her, if you ever move, do not keep that property. Do not sell it ever.
Who's going to move now with an interest rate? I have like the lowest interest rate in the world, and interest rates are too high to move. I have to live here forever.
Same with us. Yeah, but you have a good chart. You have one of the best. You have a really good. There's no perfect chart.
I have to remember that. I do.
Right.
All right. Yes, well, thank you, Raelene. Tell us where we can find you and how we can find you.
Well, I'm on Kimberly's Etsy. You could find me in her store. It'll be Secret to Everything on her Etsy. You can find Feng Shui Consultations. If you want 15% off, we'll give you 15% off. And
Just
yeah,
tell us, Sheila Show. Yeah, I mean, tell us. Yeah. So just
I'm reading
50%
someone's
off everything.
comment. I'm reading someone's
Oh, what
comment.
it
They're like,
is.
"Oh my God, I'm going off grid in the deep forest."
Yeah. Yep. Been there, done that. I'm ahead of you. Already did that. All right, Sheila, we'll
Patty,
take it.
I
You,
want to say
you
something real
know.
quick to
Sure.
Patty. I'll do your address. I'll have Kimberly email you. I'll email a little summary for you, Patty. I see you in
That's
the
nice.
I'll do that for you. I'll do that separate after the show.
That's really nice. Thank you. All right, Sheila,
Mhm.
back to you.
Beautiful. Oh, thank you so much. Raelene, thank you. This
You're
has
welcome.
been super, super interesting. I had no idea that you could pick this information up from Google Earth. That's
Hmm.
pretty cool. That's
Hmm.
actually super cool. I appreciate it. I also appreciate the fact that Kimberly brought you on. That was
Thank you.
very cool. Thank you. And Kimberly, I want to thank you so much for being my co-host, not just tonight, but throughout this entire month of April. So we have some very exciting people that will be coming your way.
Hmm.
Once more, Raelene, can you tell people how to find you?
You could reach me on Kimberly's Etsy store. You'll see her Secret to Everything store, and I'm in the Feng Shui in the reading section area where it says readings and more. You'll find my
What about
consultations
TikTok?
there.
What's your
And
TikTok?
okay. I mean, my tick are three goddess oracles is our TikTok.
Great, great.
Hmm.
All right, and Miss Kimberly, how can people find you?
Oh, secrettoeverything.com or type my name in and you'll get 1,000 podcasts. that I
Yes,
said.
she's
Awesome.
And
everywhere.
on YouTube, Secret to Everything on YouTube. So yeah, thank you,
Awesome.
Sheila.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And thanks everyone for being here
Thank
with us
you.
this week. You've been watching and listening to our guest, Raelene Malley, and my co-host, Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, here on Cosmic Conversations on the Conscious Awakening Network. So I want to thank you so much for joining us. I want to wish everyone a beautiful and blessed day, night, evening, wherever you are, whatever time you're listening. And until we're all back together again, namaste and much love, everyone. So have a beautiful evening. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.